This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Adam Smith, the head of Sky Sports Boxing Development. Adam, a new title for yourself now. Obviously, I hope you're doing well, but just inform everybody about the change in your role moving forwards.
Yeah, it's a slightly different change. Something I asked for a while back. It's the head of boxing development. It's very similar for you guys, I guess. What I'm going to be concentrating more on, though, is I'm going to be doing the commercial side, the strategy, the business side, with my deputy managing director Jonathan Lisht, and we're going to be working on the commercial aspects of obviously our deal with Matchroom, our communication with Eddie, and our deal with Anthony Joshua, and all the boxing that comes into Sky. My production team is going to be sitting under a slightly different area, under Georgie Faulkner, who is the director of multi-sports, looks after a number of different sports, and Ed Robinson will be running the day-to-day production team. So I'll be moving into the commercial area, but I'll also still be the lead commentator and back for the big fights and nights, and still doing that side. So yeah, it's something that I wanted to do to broaden out into the sort of commercial area of the sport, and also I mentor Sky Sports Scholars. I looked after Savannah Marshall for many years. I really enjoy that side of things. I look after a tennis player called Daniel Altmaier, and also support a number of the other scholars. So yeah, I want to do slightly more sort of front-facing work with Sky, but I'll be concentrating most of my time on the commercial side of boxing, making sure that the next couple of years we're delivering the best we can to Sky Sports, obviously, and I'll be back seeing you guys for all the big fights and nights. So it's a slight change. That's all it is, and it's something I'm really excited about. Really excited about getting my teeth into. I've told Anthony Joshua, I've told Eddie, obviously, and it's going to obviously be great stuff. Key relationship building, all that sort of stuff, and making sure that we deliver the best boxing we can to Sky, and that the production team can, utilise their magic to make it look spectacular. So yeah, really excited about Andy.
It's obviously good to hear that. We won't see the last of you as of yet, Adam. But just to touch on, you mentioned working with Eddie, Matchroom, AJ, etc., working on the strategies and commercial side. As far as I'm aware, it's 2021 the deal with Matchroom runs out. When do negotiations look to begin to extend that deal? Now we're in 2020.
Absolutely, it's a good question. We're always talking. We're very, very close to Matchroom in a number of ways. We have been for many years. Very fond of Eddie and Barry and everything they've done for Sky, and the darts is another amazing success over the Christmas period. Spencer Oliver and I even went to do a bit of guest commentary on, which was a lot of fun. So that's great, and there's the relationship's been there for so long, back in the days when Johnny Wischusen was sort of, basically running it with Barry, and then Eddie comes in, and he's transformed boxing, hasn't he, Eddie and Frank and Matchroom. It's been a fantastic relationship, and we want this to continue. We want it to go long on to the future. No questions there. But yeah, so I think you start talking right now, and it's an ongoing conversation. Obviously, there's his relationship with DAZN in the US, but it will come down to the fact that we believe we are the platform that Matchroom will want to be on, and we're excited. We love working with them, and it's great. Through that we've also got the golden contract, and that's come out this year, which is brilliant. We've had Eddie's done some really good deals for us, and also we've gone out and brought in the likes of Deontay Wilder from PBC. We've worked closely with Top Rank on some shows, as has Eddie. So, there's opportunities to continue doing that and bringing the best boxing to Sky. But it's a great relationship with Matchroom and Eddie, and it does run out in autumn next year. So I should think, we'll be looking to tie that up and move forward with it. And it runs concurrently with Anthony Joshua as well. So we're spending a lot of time with AJ's team. Obviously they won the belts back. It was a fantastic achievement out in Saudi. He's an ambassador for us, and so it's really important that we utilise that in the right way. He's a wonderful role model for British sport. He's got his belts back. We can't wait for his next appearance in a few months' time, hopefully here in Britain, and onwards. But yeah, very exciting times, and hopefully we'll be looking to deliver all of that for Sky Sports' future.
Final thing on the commercial side and everything to do with that. Obviously, you mentioned we've mentioned the Matchroom deal running until 2021, but with regards to the budgets, etc., I know football obviously takes a lot of the money that Sky will be able to put into sports. How much does that change your decision making with regards to what can be offered to Matchroom and to AJ, etc., amongst other fighters? How much of an impact will that have on the deals you'll be able to produce?
Well, we just have to look at what there is at the time. I mean, ultimately, Sky Sports box office and Sky Sports are slightly different entities. You know, Sky Sports box office events is obviously a different thing. Sky Sports is, you know, we are part of a number of sports, and you know, we'll look closely at what we decide to spend on each fight night, for example, or on each year we put boxing on Sky Sports. Whereas the box office model is different, and we know that the big fights, you know, go on box office now, and that we turn them into slightly different shows, bigger build-ups, you know, bigger razzmatazz amongst them, and we know that that's what's happened. But obviously, with DAZN pumping a lot of money into America and Top Rank really increasing their stable, and obviously the signing of people like Tyson Fury and Josh Taylor, and PBC have got, you know, a huge outfit there, and they've got their deals with Showtime and Fox. There's ESPN. There's huge amounts. Obviously, BT have got a cracking stable with Frank Warren, who's looking to do the Dubois Joyce fight. He's obviously got Fury and Wilder in a couple of weeks. There's competition all around us. So we want to make sure that we are, you know, still the place to come for boxing in the UK and globally for the big nights. And we put the sparkle on, but we'll make sure we make the right decisions from a financial and business point of view as well.
Moving right from all the commercial side of things, Adam. Obviously, we're here in Sheffield. Kell Brook returns. First time he's fighting in 14 months. What exactly should we expect from him on Saturday night? Will we expect to see that ring rust? Are we expecting to see a much less version of what we've been used to seeing in the past? What should we expect?
Just seeing Dominic Ingle out of the corner of my eye. The first thing is I'm really pleased that Kell Brook is back with Dominic. Look, he seems to have the fire in his belly again. He's been out a long time and he didn't look good against Zarafa. So, yeah, it's slightly worrying. Will the reflexes be there? Will the sharpness? Will the speed? Will the power? If the answer to those questions is yes, and he does a real job on DeLuca on Saturday night, then I think that, you know, we can see Kell Brook back fighting for world titles again. But it's a long gap. And it's not just about mentally whether he's in the right place, it's about physically how he looks in the ring, because we know that, you know, reflexes and speed catches up with fighters, and, you know, Kell's had a long career already, and he hasn't, you know, shone in a while, and I think that's what he needs to do on Saturday. I think if he struggles, which, you know, he may do against a tough, you know, strong American who we've seen a few times before, and yes, you know, Kell on his best day is a class or three above. You know, he's an elite fighter, so he should be able to deal with Saturday night and deal with, you know, in emphatic style. But if he doesn't, it's because of what's happened. It's because of the, you know, the hard fights with Golovkin and with Errol Spence. And, you know, the fact is he's now at the weight that he should have been, I believe, for a while. And you know, that's a good sign. He's back in Winterbank where it all started. And I think, you know, look, he's been given the platform. He says he's hungrier than ever. He says he's feeling sharp, and the proof comes on Saturday in the ring. And I think if he can look dazzling, Kell Brook can come again, no question, and we can start talking again about world titles or Amir Khan or whatever. But I think until Saturday's out the way, we won't know. It's an important night for him. It's a very important night too for Kid Galahad, and it's a very important night. It's a real opportunity for Terry Harper too. So, three fighters, as always with these big nights, under a lot of pressure.
Just to stick with Kell for now, what should we expect from DeLuca? How exactly are you expecting the fight to play out between them?
I've seen DeLuca a few times. I've commentated on him out in America. He's a very strong, tough, game, hard guy. You know, obviously he's got the army background. He's fit. He's decent. And as I said, if Kell doesn't get rid of him, he's going to be in for a tough night. But in terms of skill and pedigree and all of that, you know, you've got to give Brook, everything in that department. The thing is, it's about timing. You know, I've always said boxing is about two things. It's about levels and it's about timing. Levels, Kell Brook should be well above DeLuca. Timing, maybe not. So that's the interesting thing. If timing is still perfect for Kell Brook on Saturday night, he should do a number on him and he should be very impressive. If it's not, he'll struggle.
And obviously, you mentioned that elusive Amir Khan fight. Is that something that still does interest you, Adam? Because walking around this week, a few people have kind of said, because he's obviously dragged on for so long, we've lost interest in it. Is something that you still would love to see? Or
Andy, it's another good point. You know, getting a cab here today, and the guy was saying to me, they're big boxing fans, aren't they, the cab drivers? And they were saying, we're sort of bored of it now, and they're both sort of over the hill. But look, I think Kell Brook still is a big fight. Maybe not as big as it once was, but it's a big fight. The problem is it's no nearer being made. I was standing in this room, I think 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago when Khan fought Canelo. When he went, it was being talked about heavily then, and he went off and fought Canelo, and that didn't work out for him, but he got a lot of money, but he got knocked out. That was the time, I think, when the fight was there to be made, and I think then we tried under the Matchroom banner with both of them there, but look, the weight thing, maybe it's egos, maybe it's just money, who knows, but it's been harder and harder to make it happen. I think we've got a few months, and I think if it doesn't happen, it's going to add to the long list of the Calzaghe Frotches, the Hatton Witters, the Lewis Bows that never got made, and it's a real shame, I think, for fight fans, but they are the two fighters. They're the ones that get in the ring and put their lives on the line. They're the ones that box to get paid, and they've got to look after their own interests. So it's a shame, because I think they could have had 2-3 fights, and it could have been like a Froch-Groves rivalry, and they could have made a lot of money and a lot of people happy. But if they're not prepared to do it, then unfortunately we can't physically make them. But it is still out there, I think. If both of them look good in their next fights, it's still a possibility. So it's not dead in the water, but I think it's more unlikely at this stage now.
On to Kid Galahad. Kid Galahad facing Marrero in a final eliminator for the RBF title. Obviously, he's unsuccessful against Josh Warrington when he fought him last year. What should we expect in that bout?
I think it's a hard fight. I think it's a really good fight. I think it's a pick-em fight. It's a final eliminator. I think Kid Galahad did well against Josh Warrington. He believed he was robbed. I didn't think he was robbed. It was a very close fight. I think Josh has been incredible in the last 2 or 3 years, and obviously we work with him closely in the sort of build-up, and Frank Warren's done a great job with him. He's had some great performances. He's built a massive following in Leeds. I've got nothing but huge respect for Josh Warrington. I think he's a wonderful guy and a wonderful fighter. I think it was a close fight. Kid Galahad, it was a messy, it was a horrible fight. I'm sure Josh doesn't want to go there again, but Kid Galahad, if he wins on Saturday night, will get his world title shot again, and deservedly so. He's up there amongst the best. He's had his problems in the past. He's had the drug issue, which kept him out for a long time, but he's stayed fit. He's knuckled down. He's kept himself in and amongst it. He's a lovely guy to talk to out of the ring, and he's very disciplined in it. But it's a big fight for him. I think if he doesn't win this, he's you wonder where he goes from there. So it's really important. But he's in a tough one. It's a final eliminator. This guy's not come over he's come over to win and go on and fight for a world title himself. So it's tough.
On to Dave Allen. Dave Allen, obviously very popular over social media. He's built himself a brilliant following over the years. But I was speaking to him yesterday, I did an interview, and he said that on his way back in the ambulance to the hospital on the back of a price defeat, he said he felt he was paralysed for between 40 minutes to 2 hours. With that type of knowledge, do you feel that it is right for him to continue boxing, or do you think he should maybe be looking to go into pastures new?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? And it's not for us to decide. There's stringent medical tests. There's, obviously, mentally and physically, you want fighters to be in the right frame of mind to get in the ring. So we don't license them. That's not our decision. We broadcast. But obviously, we get close to fighters and we want the best for them. It was a tough defeat to David Price. And, people were saying afterwards that he's been in a bad place, that he swings, he has issues. He's been open about his mental health, and you just want to make sure he's in the right frame of mind. I don't spend every day with David Allen, but he's great when he's around here. He brightens up the scene. He's been terrific in the ring. At whatever level, he's a great addition to the scene. And I've seen him today. He looks in fantastic nick. If he's in great physical and mental shape, then absolutely continue with your boxing career, and let's hope that he goes on from strength to strength. But as I said, it's not for us to judge. It's for those closer around him. It's for people that can, be around. And it's also for himself to look in the mirror and be honest with himself. But if he's right and ready, then we welcome him. He's fantastic to have around the scene. But yeah, the health of fighters is the most important, obviously.
And then obviously Terry Harper versus Eva Wahlstrom. Some people saying it'd probably be the fight of the night in their eyes. Is that one that you can see going down like that?
Cannot wait. I think Terry Harper has been absolutely superb in the last couple of years. She's really got everybody talking down in Sky Studios. She's a great lady. She's a fantastic fighter. She's developing incredibly well under Steffi Bull. She's almost come from nowhere. You know, we knew about her as a sort of junior amateur, but then she lost interest with the sport. I think what Steffi's done has been fantastic. They've got a terrific relationship there. It's brilliant, and she's just gone on and performed in front of big crowds better and better. Eva Wahlstrom is a very, very good fighter, has been for a number of years. Obviously, we spent a lot of time with her around the Katie Taylor fight. She's got pedigree, she's got class, she's almost unbeaten. You know, if you take the move up to lightweight and Katie away, she is 39. You know, she may be there to be the timing, as we were saying earlier, may be right for Terry on this occasion. Eva's got all the experience, all the knowledge, all the tricks. Terry Harper looks a real fighter and a real star in the making. I think this could be her night. We don't know, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a great fight. And look, if Eva Wahlstrom comes through it, that's because of her class, her pedigree, and it's just maybe a bit too soon for Terry. But it's a real opportunity for Terry Harper. I think she can be a big star.
A couple of quick things just to touch on before I let you shoot off and do some work, Adam. What is the latest with Joshua-Pulev? Where exactly does the land lie there?
Yeah, just waiting really. Need to talk to Eddie. I think it's close. I made no secret in the fact that I want this fight in Britain. If I have a choice, I want it at Tottenham Hotspur, at the new stadium. I went to see it a few weeks ago. I was overly impressed, and this is from a Liverpool fan, and we got the win there that day, which was good as well. My daughter was very happy, as was I, and I'd love to take Callum and the Smith brothers and all that to Anfield. But if you're looking at stadiums, what a stadium. It's incredible. I've been around the world to many, but the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, what is it, a year old now, it's state of the art. And I think that Anthony Joshua coming back, hasn't fought in Britain for a couple of years. I think it will be a real statement with all his belts to fight Pulev at Tottenham Hotspur in the spring or early summer. So that's something I really want to happen. I've told AJ personally, I've told Freddie Cunningham, I've told Eddie Hearn, I've told everybody that will listen that I think this fight should be at Tottenham Hotspur. But look, there's a the Emirates is a great stadium at Arsenal, Twickenham. There's others that are in the running. I think there's obviously big money from other parts of the world, but if I have a choice, it's Britain, and I'd love it to happen at Tottenham because I think it's the new stadium and it's something different. You know, with everything happening at Wembley with the Euros, it will be a really good one. And let's fingers crossed it can be made, but not sure yet.
And obviously, we've just had the Joseph Parker and Shaundale Winters fight announced. Do you think that's kind of cleared the way for Usyk-Chisora now?
I think so, yeah. I think Usyk-Chisora will happen. I think it'll happen some point in the spring. I'm looking forward to that fight. I think it's a really fascinating one. Good heavyweight fight. So if we get Usyk-Chisora done, we get Dillian in a big fight with an Andi Ruiz or a Povetkin or a Hunter or someone like that. There's a couple of real good heavyweight fights to watch out for. But let's not forget. Let's be really independent here. There's a massive fight in 2 weeks' time with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. There's also a big fight on domestic shores with Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce. So, you know, there's some really good fights as well that are happening over on BT. We're not going to ignore them. We're going to talk about them. But obviously, for us, we're so excited about AJ coming back. AJ coming back to fight Pulev. We're looking at Usyk-Chisora, Dillian as well, and plenty more ahead on Sky. So much for fight fans out there, Andy.
We'll leave it there, Adam, because I know you're a busy man and it's starting to build up now. So appreciate your time as always. I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for Speed to Boxing Social.
Cheers, mate.